What do you do when you have not one, not two, but three shows on the air at the same dang on time? Sounds about like that's the question that we're going to have to ask that good Carlos King because, baby, we got to talk about your boy has announced the Love and Marriage franchise is heading to Detroit for Love and Marriage Detroit. Y'all recall back a couple of days, not days, a couple of weeks ago, we had talked to Carlos King and we asked about, will there be any spinoffs and could Atlanta be one of those places? And Carlos King said, pretty much, nah, no interest in Atlanta, but there is some interest in telling some new stories. Now, when I think back on it, Carlos had to know at that point in time that he was already knee deep into the process with this new Love and Marriage franchise. So, shout out to your boy Carlos for being able to keep that secret because I have no idea. Okay. I knew he was up to something, but I just didn't know what. So, let's get into this cast of Love and Marriage Detroit. Okay. Now, what I have done for you guys is all of the cast members' social media links will be placed in the description of this video for your leisure, for you to go and do your own investigations, follow, support. Y'all know how we do it. We ain't trying to dig up nothing on nobody's past or nothing like that. I try to keep things, unless it's something popping off in the news, I try to keep this strictly about what we see on the show, right? So I encourage you guys to let things fall, let things play out on the show so that we can all discuss these things as they're occurring in real time. You know what I'm saying? And support these people. You know what I mean? So let's get into it. Let's get into it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. And I'll be reading from the Deadline article. So you guys will also be able to have this link in the description down below for you as well. All right. So they say that this series is set to premiere on June 24th at 9 p.m. on OWN. Now, just for a little bit of a reference, we will have, at that point in time, most likely Bell Collective will still be on Friday nights. And then June 24th looks to be a Saturday night as well. So it's taking the 9 p.m. slot, which leads me to believe that we'll either still be in the thick of Love and Marriage Huntsville, or we will likely have moved back to Love and Marriage DC as the lead-in because they are two already established shows. And typically when you do a new show, you have a lead-in with a previously successful show so that the audience can hopefully stick around. That's typically what we do. Now, actually, while the article is dated for today, I believe. Let me go back and look at it. Yeah, May 17th at 7:06 a.m. And I'm thinking that's probably Pacific Standard Time because the news had to come out around 10. That's, I think, when I first saw it. A little bit after 10 because I was watching some screeners of some other shows. But this was actually announced during the Warner Brothers Discovery 2023 upfronts in Madison Square Garden in New York City. Now, upfronts, for those of you guys who don't know, are basically where the networks, the streaming services announce their new slate of shows that are coming up for the summer and, well, I guess we can call it spring, summer, and fall seasons for the rest of 2023 and perhaps even into 2024, right? And you guys also know, and the upfronts are specifically for advertisers, right? Not really say specifically, but they really are catered to advertisers so that they can, start to get an idea of what shows are going to be happening so they can start placing their ads. But also, too, it gives us, the consumers, an idea of what else is coming down the pike. So we know that NBC Universal had already done theirs, and so it stands to reason that, of course, we would get the Warner Brothers Discovery information as well, which the OWN network is a part of. Also, just another bit of tidbit for you guys. What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought because I wanted to make sure I got y'all this information. Yeah, basically the upfronts are basically where we can find out these new shows that are coming out. If my other thought comes back to me, then I'll definitely let you guys know what it was. But I wanted to give you the context for how this information was coming about so that you guys understand. And these typically happen in May. Okay. All right. So it says the spinoff will introduce a new group of dynamic Black community members and leaders, this time from the comeback city. Kind of a nod back to the comeback group for those of you guys who are Love and Marriage Huntsville fans. But that is what they're now calling Detroit, which used to be known as Motor City. All right. So the log line for the show. So every show has a log line, whether you know it or not. All right. Log line is basically kind of like a short description of the show. It says Detroit is on the rise, and so are the people. It's a city where Black culture is strong. The re-emerging city is all about family, friendship, business, and excellence, and of course, love and marriage. So this show will center on a group of African American families with deep ties to Detroit who have decided to stay in the city and prove that they can provide the best lives possible for their families in this community on a comeback. And I love this idea of, and I think that I have to ask him about this, but Carlos definitely, I think, does a good job of hitting the nail on the head with this idea of revitalization. Um, and you see that as a through line in Huntsville from the beginning. We see that as a bit of a through line, actually a large part of the story of Bell Collective. And now we're seeing it here again with um, Love and Marriage Detroit. I think that that is also something that could be of use in DC as well. So I would it would be interesting to see them incorporate that because I think it gives the group a focus and something to do and something to work forward to. You know what I'm saying? I think that also helps to make the television compelling because there are increasingly higher stakes, right? All right, so let's get into the families. So we have Russell and Colby Harris, and we'll get into, and I'll let you guys know who each couple is. Brandon and Christina Bowman Smith, and Anthony and Dr. Latoya Thompson will star in the series. Now, it says in the premiere season, secrets and past deeds haunt the couples as relationship cracks are exposed and issues surrounding faith, resentment, and broken lines of communication are tackled head on. All right. So, of course, this show was created by Carlos King and is produced, and this is where Carlos is actually from. So this is also it's a great way to put all these things together. And I think it's great to go back to that city because we also know that his other show, Grown in Gospel, I think was also in that city, if I'm correct. And I know, listen, if I'm not, you guys will correct me. Okay. But executive producers include, of course, produced by Kingdom Reign, executive producers Carlos, Angela Duggan, Dugan or Duggan, Brent Nesbitt, and Taryn Laughlin. I tell you guys all of these things because I feel like these little details that you may sometimes overlook, I feel like are really important. I love to see who's producing the shows. I love to see who has their hands in the pot. And I love to know that it's our people who are involved in the creation of these topics. All right. So let's talk about each of the couples, right? Let's talk about the Harrises. Now, if you're looking at the screen, the Harrises are going to be the two to our right, the far right couple, okay? Now, the description starts off with them. It says Russell and Colby are a young couple and they've been married for 3 years and they share a 2-year-old daughter. I had the Instagram pages pulled up, but a lot of their socials have, kids in them. And as you guys know, I don't typically like to post other people's kids in my videos, mostly because I just feel like they're not my kids. So, it's just it's just a respect thing for me personally. I don't know about nobody else. That's just a me thing. That's just something for me. And because I don't have any kids, I just try to, walk in accordance with, how I feel like another parent could feel. You know what I'm saying? Just respecting what I don't know, right? So anyway, let's get back to it. It says Russell considers himself the head of the household. And so he makes the decision to start attending divinity school before even consulting with his wife. And his wife, Colby, is feeling like she should be more included in these important family decisions. She's the daughter of a pastor and isn't sure she wants to revisit that world for a second time as an adult. Now, Russell, again, this is the couple on the far right of the screen, also runs a nonprofit called Sword Detroit, which focuses on literacy and sports. So, again, kind of similar to Huntsville, how we have the sports connections. I mean, we've got Lewis, who has the baseball training thing. Martell is also very heavy into, the sports because I think he played football, correct? And so, there's that sort of connection that's similar as well. And we'll have another connection to Huntsville, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But it says that Colby, his wife, is a rising social media influencer, and that kind of causes a rift with some of the more established influencers in the group. So, Christina and Colby are like sisters. Now, which one is Christina? You may be asking. So, Christina is our young lady in the center, okay, in the center couple. So, Christina in the center and Colby, who are on the right, are like sisters, and they're both in the social media influencer space, but they kind of become at odds because an opportunity for a collaboration comes up, and Christina is apprehensive about joining forces. And this leads the two of them to have a disagreement that affects their husbands, who are also friends. All right. So now let's talk about the Smiths. All right. So that's Christina and Brandon. All right. Christina and Brandon. They've been married for 11 years. That's the couple in the middle. And they have two young daughters. The couple resides in a penthouse that overlooks Detroit. Christina is a well-known fashion designer, stylist, and influencer in Detroit. And if you look at her Instagram, which I'll have them all the links below, you will be able to see some of the history of that. Because I always like to look and see, like how much is this? I mean, what they really give it? You know what I'm saying? And we do get to see that on her Instagram. And it says that Brandon, also what we see a lot of on his Instagram, even though he doesn't have that many posts up, I don't think. He's the owner of what they call Star Factory. It's an artist development program. And don't y'all feel like there's not enough artist development going on right now with a lot of artists these days? Because I kind of feel like, like I like my artists to perform. You know what I'm saying? And I could go down a rabbit hole with that, but this will be interesting to me because y'all know I'm interested in the music industry. And it says where he trains young people of Detroit with a dream to become singers and recording artists, which I think is pretty dope. They're going through some marital woes with Brandon's desire to become the Berry Gordy of 2023 and his showcase highlighting Detroit's musical talent. But Christina is strong in her faith, and you will hear that if you go to her Instagram, because every Instagram post where she's talking about the fashion, she says, giving God the grace, giving God the glory to glory be the name of the Lord and Savior. Yes, yes, yes. I ain't mad at it though. I am not mad at it. Anyway, she says, the description says she's not always pleased when Brandon must go out to the clubs for his talent development business, which has been causing tension between them since they got married. Now, Brandon is also holding a secret he doesn't share with his wife, and thank God for the article because it tells us what the secret is. He is working with a few new female artists in Detroit, but when Christina finds out all HE double hockey sticks breaks loose. All right, so now we have the Thompsons, which is the couple on the far left, right? So it says Anthony and Dr. LaToya Thompson have been married for 14 years and they share two sons. So they're married the longest. Now, Anthony works for Live Nation and he's the owner of a production studio. So we have a lot of musical connections here, which I love. And it says in this household, LaToya is the breadwinner as a successful sports physical therapist and the owner of Opulence Wines. But you will never hear Anthony admit that. In fact, when Anthony was offered a production gig in Atlanta, he accepted the job and temporarily moved to Atlanta against his wife's wishes, eventually returning to Detroit once LaToya put her foot down. I don't know about the two of us living in two separate places, baby. I don't know about that one. I don't know about it. I don't know about it. Anyway, it says Anthony also started a men's organization where the goal is for men to have an outlet to discuss the root of the issue affecting men and relationships in life. He even puts together a man's movement march in the city of Detroit and invites Love and Marriage Huntsville. And again, I told you we would have that Huntsville connection, and Michigan native, which is Marceau, because we learned, if you didn't hear on a previous episode, when Marceau's dad was in town, again, from Michigan, Marceau will be a guest speaker at the event. Meanwhile, LaToya is struggling as a Black wine owner in a predominantly white business and disagrees with her husband, who intimates that he helped build the company. Woo! This should be very interesting. A husband, and especially if he's has some level of involvement with the company. First of all, let me just say this. Congratulations to Carlos. Congratulations to Own. Congratulations to Kingdom Reign and everybody involved with this. I think it is dope. Congratulations to this cast. And congratulations to us, because we now have another new show to sink our teeth into. And I'm looking forward to it. The cast looks great to me. I feel like they have great stories. They seem like they have some genuine connections amongst the group. And individually, they also seem to have some very intriguing things going on in their lives. So I'm super excited to get to discover this group. Let me know if you guys will be watching Love and Marriage Detroit when it premieres on OWN on Saturday. That is Saturday, June 24th at 9 p.m. I know I'll be tuned in. I know I'll be tapped in, and I know I'll be turned on. So y'all ain't got to worry about it, because we, of course, is going to be doing a review on it. All right. So with that being said, I will catch you all in the next video. So I'm Richie Skye, the author and publisher of The Wickedest Wives, Desiree's Desire, which is book 1 in a series. This book is about redemption. It's the story of a disgraced journalist who has lost everything. And now she has to rebuild her life brick by brick. And what better way to do that than to join a reality TV show? Why not? Now, not only are we talking reality TV, so you know there's gonna be scandal, you know there's gonna be a little bit of deception, backstabbing, a little romance, and why not throw in a sprinkle of murder to really round out the excitement? So I really want you guys to dive headfirst into these books. Desiree's Desire is just the first of many to come. So I'm super excited for you guys to read this, and I want to know exactly what you think. So be sure to follow, like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.